Alright, so I'm going to show you the demo. Okay. So this is the demo for writing the code how to handle this use BinaryIO, right? Of course, first thing, I have a person class that I want to write as the binary file. Okay. So first thing we said, we have to implement, right, serializable in order to make it read and writable, right? And then you import this interface. And again, this interface just no method to implement. It's just telling that I want to make this person class object to be able to write to and read from. So that's very simple. Alright, so just add that implement serializable. Now, I'm going to start to use the output stream first. I'm going to say ObjectOutpoutStrem. Okay? And just call obj output. Alright, so equals to new ObjectOutpoutStrem. Okay, so now ObjectOutpoutStrem also need the file, right? So I'm going to close this. New file OutputStream. And then you need the file name. New, right, file that you want to handle, right? Just like what I showed you earlier, right? ObjectOutpoutStream, and you can do file name here. It can be string. If you don't want to do the file, it can be just string. So if you want to make it simple, we just use string file name here. Okay. And if I use string, it depends on the constructor. We can check the constructor file output stream. It can be file type, like I said, new file, right? Or I think it can be string because one object, like that. See that? So it depends. Now, if I want to make it simple first, right, string, use string file name. And again, this can be the file chooser, right? Or this output, not input. Then I'm going to name it person, right, .dat. Okay, so this is a binary file, so we're going to name .dat. So file input stream, pretty much just, if we want to just use string, simple string, import and import object output stream spelling lowercase p import. And of course, like I said, I need to STREAM to do TryCatch because it's going to handle. If I throw, I'm not supposed to throw here in the main. I'm supposed to handle it. So I do TryCatch, and it has to be multi-catch. If I happen to use this one is from where? Remember, ObjectOutpoutStream do IO exception right there. When you hover in Eclipse, tell you that too. You have to do the file not file exception. They have part of Java doc for you. So this IO exception, like I said, not a bad idea just to pop up something to the user because this is when you handle it now. So you want to actually interface with the users, not printing some traits that user don't understand. Okay, and just say error or problem reading, right? Reading file. Then user know what happened, right? And that IO. There's another one, right? What type of exception again? Hover, file not found exception. So you can catch and say, hey, there's something wrong. Your file is not existing, right? Or path is the issue, right? File not found exception. I need to import this. So the first one is IO input output errors. This is could be check your path, right? Check your file path, or making sure the file exists, right? So that's something that we talk to users. File not found exception. Alright, so now that's an order. It's very important, and you see on the test too. If I throw IO exception first, it will never get to the file not found exception, because IO exception is it's pretty much just, if you look at the hierarchy, this is going to go taken care of first, like the parent. If it's taken care of that, it will never get to this. It's always going to throw that first. Okay. Now we're gonna do reformat it. So we read in output, we write it, and that's it, right? What you want to write now, that's object output dot write. You can write an object, right? Write object. The object is person, so I can create new person to write, and new person from the constructor of this person class, pass the name and age. So this person name is David and his age is 21. That's it. Now we're gonna run the file and we see person should be created. Oh, one more thing. Remember, when you're done, you should tell the users with a pop-up message. Otherwise, we don't know what happens, right? So, okay, complete. Run it again to make sure we get a message. If there's no error, say complete. So it's done. It's take a while, you see that, before it pop up, because it's had to write to the file. Now you do F5, you see person right there. Like I said, this is the, you may be able to read some, but it's the binary file. Okay. Alright, so we're done with writing. How about we want to test reading? I'm going to test just the same. Maybe create another one, new class. So that demo on output, I'm going to demo on how to read input. Or I can do it in the same file too. Okay. Input demo. Alright, so I'm going to copy the skeleton here and modify it a little bit. I need a main. I need a main, and when I read in, I need to know the file name to read, so I have that. Instead of ObjectOutpoutStrem, what do? Easy, InputStream. I try to make the same skeleton to make sure that you compare that. It's nothing else, just replace output with input and import them. Okay. And now you just need to deal with file input stream and import file input stream. See that? So we have object input stream ready. Now you just need to, instead of write, what do? Everybody can guess. Read, because we input, right? And you want to read an object. You want to read an object from where? From the file name, right? Our input stream already, so read object. Then you don't need to do anything, just like next. You can get it back right away, right? Returns, read object should returns if you hover the mouse. They want you to do more in case of the class exception. Remember, when you read in, you read dealing with the class. So we want the catch exception. Okay. We read in a class, which is a person data class in. That's why I need to do class not found exception. In case you don't have this guy here, it's going to throw because they don't know what is it. So when you read in, okay, so we may just say the message again, say make sure, okay, or something like could not find person class. Okay, let's talk about that, class not found, right? So when you read in is an object, you need to cast it to person. Okay, and then that means you can just create something like temp to store that guy, and then I can just say, if it's read in fine, I'm going to prop up with the person information, show message dialog, and say temp. It's going to call to string of that person, correct? From person we have to string. Alright, let's test this. Run. There you go, no problem. It's read in the binary files and just say person. And that is pretty much complete. Show it. Right? So what we learned from here, we learned that this is an easier way if you want to deal with your class arrays, array list, collections. You can actually write the whole thing into binary file. You don't need to read it for the program. You don't have to make it literally readable by human. You want to store that, like for example, person has username, password, right? For program authentication, you can just write it as a text file. As a binary file, not a text file. It's easier because when you read in, you can read in an object of person, and then you can pretty much just check if this guy has his right password for each object. So when you create the new password, when you do form registration, the same thing. You pretty much add the field of each name, age, username, password. You just do, when you hit the button create, it's instantiate the new object of person right away by passing these fields through the parameters. Make sense? Which you already created. When you read it to authentications, you just do the read file from the binary file and check, right, for authentication if this person is correct. Alright, so I guess you may want to try that. I want to end the lecture with BinaryIO at this point. If you have questions, please just let me know or send me emails, right? And this is my email, tkanchanat1chai@gmail.com. Okay, any